Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Cowboy. Going to share the screen right now. Going to jump straight into the charts. The economic data is going to come out any second now. I took my EUR trade off right here, right where you see it. This was a live trade that I took in front of everybody over at the Algo Factory private. And of course, that did give people a chance over to Algo Factory to do their own research and maybe take a similar trade. So I took that yesterday and it was a beautiful 2-to-1. And there it goes. There goes the data. So if I had stayed in the trade, it would have gone straight to my original target. The thing is, we did not know what that data was going to look like. Okay, so whenever that economic data is about to come out, I generally don't stay in my trades because a beautiful, and I actually took a trade that looked like the original entry that I took was actually way down here. Okay, so I had this really nice like 5-to-1 trade in addition to the trade that everybody else saw. That was a super risky trade. Paid off. I put a small amount on it and actually paid off better than the less risky trade that I took. But long story short, we don't know what that economic data is going to look like. Now, this did take us to our original 2.5-to-1 target. For my original trade was closer to 6.5-to-1. However, the problem is we didn't know what that data looked like. So I took profit up here, which ended up being a 1.85-to-1. Like actually right about here is where I took profit originally. So yeah, I could have gambled. I could have stayed in the trade. I could have made up to my original target and made just a little bit more money. But the reality is that, look, this price had a beautiful extension right not long after I woke up. Price had this beautiful extension right up towards the target. And I'm like, okay, so, the data's coming out. I don't know what that data is going to look like, but price made this, let me paint this for you with an arrow. Price made this beautiful extension in the direction of target. And so the market gave me a gift and I went ahead and I took that gift. So of course, if I wanted to gamble, I could have stayed in. Price would have gone to my original targets, which of course are always a little bit nicer, but we don't know the future, right? And so I was just conservative and I went ahead and I took profit when profit was there to take. So, and trust me, folks, this is paid off for me over time. Yes, how nice would it be for me to be able to suck up all this profit, but I still sucked up a lot of profit. I took in, like I said, it was really a 1.85-to-1. And the first trade that I took was way down here. It was more like a 5 or a 6-to-1, right? But again, that was such a high risk trade. I just didn't share that one. So either way, beautiful trade. Even if I had stayed in, of course, more beautiful. But look, my strategy is always to not trade during the news. And if I'm well into profit, or if I'm just, it depends where I am in the trade. I generally will either tighten up my stops, which actually would have worked out nicely had I just simply tightened up stops today, instead of taking profit right there. But because look, let me put it this way. If price had been lower, if price had been closer to entry and I wasn't so far into profit, I probably would have tightened up stops. And tightening up stops in this case would have paid off because price went away. So had I moved my stop loss way up here to where okay, let me draw this example, okay? Let's say I was still in the trade and I did not exit right here where this line is, right? We'll mark this line another color so you know that's where I really exited, okay? So I really exited right here. But had I not done that, right? Had I simply, had I exited, had I taken my stop loss and moved it from down here where this blue meets this green, and then just like moved it right here, price would have gone up away into profit, into the original take profit point. But I would have done that if price were closer to my entry, because there's just not a lot to lose right there. If price was hanging out down here, I mean, it's still around a 1-to-1. It was a beautiful trade even then. But had price been so close to the entry, I simply would have moved my stop loss up to avoid having any loss in the trade and try to capture any of the profit that occurred from a run up in price like that. But because price ran up and into my direction and I was already so nicely into profit, I went ahead and said, you know what? The market gave me a gift. I'm well within my rules of taking profit. I'm almost at a 2-to-1. I'm just going to go ahead, take the profit, call it a day, and that's that. And that's what I did, because these news events are extremely unpredictable. There are those who trade the news events. I'm not saying you can't make money doing it, but the only people who make money at that on a regular basis are going to be people who are extremely like high tech types. They have special computer programs and mechanisms that allow them to move very, very quickly. So that's usually the case. The most people who make money trade news. So we got a question from Mick Micko. Hey, Cowboy, hope you're well. Any chance of having a look at wheat and natural gas spot price chart? Yeah, sure. I don't know that there is such a thing as spot. I thought all those are all futures. Um, so I don't know. Maybe if they're either there's something that I don't know, and there actually is spot wheat, or maybe there's something to learn in this scenario that there is not spot wheat. But either way, I can give you wheat and nat gas prices. And I can give you wheat and nat gas, analysis, and then we'll go over the actual data that caused the price to move as it did. Let me expand the screen here a bit, and don't worry about this multi-panel craziness that you see right now. That's just that's algorithms, right? So let me exit out of that so you guys don't think that this is some crazy thing that you have to do and with all these screens. So we're on Solana now. That's beautiful. Let's go to wheat. Okay, so as far as I know, let's see, wheat want. We'll just go to with this wheat contracts here. Yeah, I don't know if that's right. It's a wheat cash contract. Wheat spot? No. Oh, that's what? Wheat spot. Delhi Kota Contra. Okay, so that's all India stuff. Okay, yeah, the only thing I can find is wheat futures. And that's a technical thing, so let's not worry about futures versus spot. Okay, that's just like stuff to talk about. This is this is weird. What currency is this in? I don't even know. I don't like this chart. It might be the one. It's wheat futures and it's CBOT. I mean, this is the U.S. Traded. Let's see what else we got here. Let's just do. Oh, that's WEAT. Wheat fund, wheat futures, which we're looking at. Wheat mini futures. We'll go with wheat mini. And if it looks like wheat futures, then Yeah, okay, we'll just stick with this. I'm not sure what this currency is on the side. I don't know if it's $577 per share. I don't trade wheat, but I will look at this chart for you. I was on the daily. It looks like wheat has just been falling. Look, wheat went up in a big way because of the Oanda. What's the ticker on that, Mick, for the Oanda wheat futures ticker? Can you give that to me? And I'm gonna type in wheat, and I'm gonna see if there. Oh, usually I can look at Oanda. It's weird. Let's do wheat with a WH. I'm looking for Oanda on here. If you're doing Oanda wheat futures, chances are you're not in the U.S. That's probably going to be a CFD. But at any rate, I think we were on the right track. So we're going to go back to this commodity CME wheat volatility index, wheat index, NASDAQ, Kansas wheat. Let's see what CBOE has. Nope. I'm taking us way off track here. Can't chart, have to use features. Okay, good. We'll go back to wheat futures then. What was it? WH1 exclamation? No. W1 exclamation. Sucking up a lot of time with this. Sorry, folks. It's just not something I look at very often. With all the different stuff I can trade, it's like whatever, But we'll go right here. All right, so it looks bearish from a price action standpoint. You've got price headed down, and you've got these. It's just on a downtrend, right? So let's move to a higher time frame and take a look at the algos. Like I was saying before, look, wheat, it's bearish. I can tell you that right now. Like, it took a big move up during the Ukraine, invasion or special military operation, depending on talk to, whatever they call it. But wheat was on an uptrend actually since 2018. So it looks like if you go back in time, it really does have these kind of high time frame, ups and downs. Because the chart you're looking at goes back to the 1990s right now. Okay, so just so you understand that. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm just going to go by the history of what it does, the last time there was a big move up, this happened in 2022, right? And you can see here it like really took off in February, but it was moving up anyway, right? But then the special military operation, aka invasion, happened, and you have this massive spike up because Ukraine. And quite frankly, Russia are massive producers of wheat, right? But it's since calmed down, and the price has gone down, and it's back to pre-invasion levels. And this is like 2021 levels right now. So, I mean, I don't see anything interesting about it. Volatility is very low. If I had to take a guess as to what's going to happen, I would venture to surmise in the next couple of months, you're probably going to see wheat revisit its lows or just consolidate kind of where it is into a range, right? So this is high time frame stuff, but I would have lows marked out. Let me recode that properly here. I'd have lows marked out at 538, whatever those currencies are. I don't know if it's $538. I just don't know. But also, it looks to be developing a range on the lower time frame, and we'll jump to a lower time frame to review this. But it seems like it's developing a pretty tight range. It could come out of that range anytime. But when the volatility is so low, there's a decent chance it's just going to bounce around in that range until it doesn't. Like that's literally going to happen because that's like saying water's wet. But you're looking at right now the bottom of a range, so you have a couple of choices, right? If you're trading wheat futures, it doesn't look like a very clean thing to trade. I wouldn't trade it just looking at what it looks like right here because I need to be in and out of something within like less than a day. So that being the case, we got the gorilla in the house. Let's get him in. What's up, gorilla? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing quite well, my friend. Indian AI in the house.
All right. Yes, Indian AI in the house inside Saturn. All right, that's great.
Saturn.
You said Uranus. But yeah, we're just looking at wheat futures right now. One of the audience members, and I don't know if Mick is even Mick. As we're charting this, tell us: are you one of our members, or are you just kind of in the show? Because we will chart on this free to the public live lab. You could just come into YouTube and ask us questions, and we'll chart. And it won't be long before, if we can get the Rumble streamer to work, we'll be streaming on Rumble. We already stream on X, but I don't know that we can see questions from X. So for the moment, if you want to ask questions, you got to come to YouTube. But right now, wheat has developed a range, it seems. And right now it's at the bottom of that range. If in fact it respects that range, I would expect a bounce upward. If not, if it doesn't go up from here to the top of that range, which would take it to from 576 to 616 or 615. If it doesn't do that, then it might pop down to like 540, from say its current was it 576 right now, but it would need to close below that significantly. Like it probably would do something like, as messy as this is, I have zero desire to trade this at all. I'm not interested in trading this, but something like this, right? But these are daily candles, so as I jump to lower time frames, it might make a little more sense to trade it. I don't have access to. Oh, Mick, cool. Nice. Well, welcome to the club. Mick says he's just signing up. Mick, how did you hear about us, man? Tell us how you heard about Algo Factory. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, and that is my inquiring mind. So on a lower time frame, wheat actually looks almost kind of fun to trade. It's wild. Like if with wheat, just based on this, it's not that pretty to trade. It looks kind of volatile though. If you're trading with leverage, you could probably make money with it. But remember, with leverage, as it is with anything that we say, nothing is investment advice. Please consult your licensed investment advisor before, for trading on the markets, because you can lose all your money. Yep, you can. So we don't give investment advice. All right, cool. So you're a Rogue fan. So with wheat on a 30-minute basis, like right now, depending on the algos that you have, it could pop up. I can tell you that I would not bet on it right now. I would not long this, even though it's at the bottom of the range, even though this is where I would normally want to go long. My algos don't like longs right now. So now, if this bounced and the algos went ahead and pinged long for me, I would consider taking a long, right? So my trade might look something like this, and it would last probably several days to a week. It would be, a higher time frame trade than that to which I'm accustomed, but it would be a very nice risk to reward ratio. Now, I would have to widen that risk to reward because if you look at this asset, it does have very long wicks. So you might go long, but then it wicks you out of the trade. So this is something you got to study. You got to back test. You know, just willy nilly trade something, right? You got to test it, and that takes time. But as we speak, it does seem to be breaking below the range that I drew. So in the other case, that would be looking at a short. So perhaps I would enter a short, and again, I'd give that stop loss plenty of room, but you might get yourself like a 2-to-1 or something like that. Nice little trade right there. So I would be trading it until I studied it though. I'd study it, back test it, understand the way it normally acts, understand the probability of winning a trade based on a certain size stop loss, whether it's based on ATRs or structure or anything like that. I would develop a full-on plan for that. The other question you had was for nat gas, nasty nat gas, futures. Well, we can go spot right here. Pepperstone. All right, so now nat gas on Pepperstone, that looks bearish as well, but that's only on the 30 minutes, so that doesn't mean anything on a high time frame. So yeah, that's nat gas is. I actually have some charting, and it looks like it broke. I didn't, look. Let me tell you something about forecasting. The farther out you forecast, the more useless your forecast is. So I thought maybe it would bounce. I looked at this back in like November, and I'm like, oh, it's going to range, and then it may bounce up or down. Well, in this case, it did what I said it would do from mid-November up until about January. So for 2 or 3 months, my forecast was correct. But honestly, like I generally do not forecast out more than for trading purposes, I don't forecast out more than a week, maybe 2 or 3. It just doesn't, too many things can happen geopolitically within that period of time to throw things off. You know what I mean? So because I don't want to deal with geopolitical wild cards, I actually don't take a trade that lasts generally not longer than a day, really. So I can forecast that. I can forecast a day, but we start forecasting months out. That makes no sense. So looking at this, it looks like almost like your kind of old school bear flag breakout here. And there's a way to measure that. So let's do this the old way, not even looking at algos, just going to measure how far this might go down. Now looking at supports, now this is high time frame, this is weekly, and it's at a support now. It's at a high time frame support. It's at $1.62, and it's right there. So if nat gas breaks below $1.62, you're going to see. Shoot, you can't get below zero on. Technically on futures, you can go below zero. This is a spot chart, so it's not futures. But I remember when oil went below zero during the pandemic. Like it basically, effectively, it turned into if you want to hold oil, then like you got to pay somebody to store it. Oil went negative for a short time in the pandemic. And if you think about it, during the beginning of the pandemic, when everybody panicked, like if everybody's going to stay home all the time, nobody's driving anywhere, all freight comes to a halt. Everything comes to a halt. That means like you're holding oil that you're not going to use. That means it costs money to hold your oil. So technically, for oil to go negative makes sense. It means that nobody wants it. But that was a very, very short time that it was negative. It was almost like a technical thing in the charts. But long story short, nat gas, it's at its all-time low, at least per this chart, going back to 2016. You're looking at 152. So, and as bearish as this chart looks, I would be interested in 152, but I would not be messing with oil right now. Natural gas, I mean to say, not oil. Let me see if I can find a chart with more history on nat gas. Let's see here. Natural gas futures. Okay, let's see how old this NYMEX goes. This has more history. Wow. Yeah, but still, that doesn't change anything that I said. Let me make sure that the screen is zoomed. No, it's good. Okay. So that's on the weekly. Yeah, I would be interested in 143 and understand that this is historically low. Like natural gas is plummeting. And I don't understand exactly what's going on. My man, we talked about this. Oil right now was kind of being partially held down because the transport that's being blockaded through the Red Sea, keeping that oil from coming to the rest of the world, that oil was more or less being replaced with Russian oil. So we didn't see this huge ramp up in oil that everybody expected when there was a blockade of the Red Sea. Is that all correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And then it just takes a longer shipping route for them to go around the entire breadth of Africa to get to the European refineries. But yeah,
All right. So that being the case, then look, natural gas, a lot of that comes from oil drilling. So you drill for oil, and trapped in that area where the oil is the natural gas. So, you can make money on natural gas. And I think one of the largest natural gas, one of the largest countries with natural gas reserves under the ground is Russia. So I would think that the more oil is being produced, the more natural gas is being produced, especially if there's new drilling going on. So that's on top of that, Europe is probably just not buying as much natural gas because they're not allowed to buy Russian natural gas, which is pretty affordable.
they could only
Um,
buy Indian, natural gas that is an Indian hydrocarbons that the Indians buy from the Russians, mark it up 40%, and sell to the Europeans. That's they're
yeah,
only
but
allowed to do that.
that works with oil. But I mean, look, natural gas is going to come to a country in two different ways. It's going to come through pipelines, which is the most efficient, which is how Europe gets it from Russia and Finland. And I think it's Finland, right? Is it Finland that has all the natural gas in Europe?
Yeah, they're getting what the Europeans are getting a lot of natural gas from the other mega natural gas supplier, LNG supplier, which is Qatar.
Mm.
That's who's supplying it. It's
Is
Qatar,
that
not
via
India.
pipeline?
Yeah, India doesn't have any natural gas at all.
Is
They
Qatar
only have AI.
natural gas? What's that?
They only have AI.
What's oh
Yeah.
is Qatar natural gas? Is that pipeline or is that in ships? Like, is it liquid or is it compressed?
For the export markets, it's ships.
Okay, so they're getting LNG from Qatar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the thing about nat gas is that the demand from Europe is being pushed down because of this BS. They're not allowed to get Russian gas. They blew up Nord Stream. They being who knows who. I know we just had an interview where Putin said it was us. I don't know. Whatever. That's just what he said. I'm not saying anything. We're on YouTube, but I will say that it seems just by this chart that natural gas demand is going down. Usually, like you would expect natural gas demand to hike up in the wintertime. And judging by my gas bill, you would think that the price on natural gas was higher. But yeah, man, whatever. It's low now. I would expect it to hit that 141. Let's move on. If there's anybody else in the audience, first of all, please please subscribe, please hit the notification bell. I looked at our metrics and we have a lot of people who come and watch and they do not like subscriber notification bell. So if you're doing that, please do those things. It helps us out. Also, if you have any questions, if you have charts that you want to see, go ahead and let us know. I'm going to bust out. Actually, Gorilla, is there a chart that you want to see before I start moving on?
No, I'll save the rest for the
private.
Actually, let's bring up Solana if you haven't done so already.
Solana.
Yeah.
Solana it is. That massive Solana trade win that I have. Like, I mapped out a trade live for everybody to see. I think it was on like the Rogue show or the public show. So it was like for everybody to see. Like you go back to last week, you'll see the trade where Solana had bottomed out, bottomed out after the ETF. Right. So let's go back through a little bit of history here. Solana price. Solana had a major move from last year. I want to say it's up like 600% or something. Back in October, November, whatever, it was around $20. Yeah, Be Good. They're doing. Sorry, I'm interrupting my own broadcast here because Be Good's asking questions in the private lab. Be Good. We'll get to that. That's actually just that's not that's just an order book. As far as I know, that looks like an order book. So, all right, look at that. No, maybe not. We're gonna have to take a deeper look at that. Be Good. I'm not sure yet. So back to the chart here. So Solana. Let me draw a box around this. I believe is the fake ETF, this crazy wick action. So Solana topped out and then started to relax. And then the fake ETF announcement from Twitter on X, I mean to say. And then you had like the real ETF. And when the real ETF hit, Bitcoin sold off. And I did tell everybody my estimation was that it would be a sell the news event, and surely it was. Price went up to 50,000 and then I think went all the way down to 38,000 right after the ETF was, in earnest announced, right? Well, then the gorilla told us privately, not where everybody could hear, that it was just going to probably go right back up, and it did. That was Bitcoin. Now, Solana is more or less following that. So if I overlay Bitcoin on this, we're going to see how Bitcoin is affecting Solana, and I will do that just for a short period of time so we can have an understanding of why Solana may be doing right what it's doing. But the orange line on here is Bitcoin, and you can see Solana is just following Bitcoin. And in fact, now I think it's outpacing it because Solana went from 79 to 119. That's going to be 80 and 20, 40, 40 and 80. So it's gone up about 50% since then. It's gone from 80 to almost 120, so like probably 45%. While Bitcoin went price scales on the left from 39,000 to 52,000. So that is going to be 13 and a third. So Bitcoin went up about a third. It went up about 33%, almost exactly. So even though the Bitcoin move up here looks more severe on this chart, if I were to correct it for percentage, it actually looks more like this, while Solana is actually moving in a much stronger manner, right? Okay, but you can see it's just following Bitcoin. However, Solana has a lot more volatility than Bitcoin, and most alts are just right now a leveraged version of Bitcoin. But Solana is very strong. It bounced off the bottom here, and I did tell everybody, I'm like, hey, I think this might be the bottom. If Bitcoin stays stable and does stay above 40,000, Solana is probably going to go up from here. Now, if you look at yesterday's show, you'll see this, right? This, I believe I even put this on the Live Lab show, and you'll see that I have this trade, and I think it looks like this, if I'm not mistaken. It might even look better than this. I think I might have even called it deeper than this. Now, this was a trade that I constructed and unfortunately never took, so I didn't put it like on, hey, I got this trade and it's a win. But as a matter of fact, you know what? You know where this is? If you go to the show that I did yesterday on YouTube, right? So let me bust out the YouTube show so you guys can see it, because I gotta play the video, V. This is the beginning of our YouTube shows. Yesterday I had a little bit of fun with it. But I'm just gonna put up I'm not gonna play the whole show here or even much of it, but I just want to show you that's what it looks like. It's the scales, Solana on the right, Ethereum on the left, Ethereum versus Solana. That's on the Algo Factory YouTube channel, which many of you are watching right now. So go watch that show, and you will see right. I'm gonna just show the actual trade itself because it came up in the charts yesterday. There it is. Okay, so let me maximize this. Maximus. So there you go. There's the trade. It's blurry because I'm, looking at another YouTube video. But there's the trade that I designed. You can see I took it here, and it kept going up. And I designed that trade. Never took it just because I got so many things going on. I never took that trade. But I designed that, and it did nothing but go up. So you understand that, like, this is something, that trade that I did right there, like, everybody could see that. That was just watching the free YouTube. That wasn't even like there are more trades like this in the private lab that I do. Like, I did this EUR trade that you saw at the beginning. I took that trade, and I told everybody before I was going to take that trade that I took that trade. So people who are trading, can see that and say, hey, I'm going to do my own research, and then maybe they like what that trade looks like, and they develop their own trade, and they take a similar trade and they make money. Like, that happens at least once a week over at Algo Factory. Sometimes it happens sometimes it happens 4 times a month. Sometimes it happens more than that. It just depends on what's going on in the markets, but that's that. So Solana right now, I think on an algorithmic standpoint, just wanted to show off the win column a little bit there. on an algorithmic standpoint, it's just bullish, bro. Like it could easily have a pullback, but if I had to just chart what Solana is going to do, it'll probably be akin to that trade that I had on that video. And what that's going to look like is going to be a move up to about 145. So I think it's just going to mob and it's going to head up. Now, we do have some resistances about which we must be concerned. This one here and where it currently is right now, it's performing just fine right now, even though it's at this resistance from the fake ETF. And the fake ETF was a resistance that was created out of some weird news. So I wouldn't worry as much about it. Solana could get kind of bump its head on 126 right here. It could. If it does not, then I would expect it to go to 144. 144 is a target I like for near term. You know, and again, the video I did yesterday talks a lot about Solana. So let me see. I'll bust out the fun video that I made. Oh no, it's time to go. Screw it, dude. Just watch the video. Beginning's funny, especially if you like Conan. Should I play the Conan thing and let this free live go a little bit longer, or should we just jump? V, you make the call.
Play the Conan thing, man.
Look at the Conan thing. It's first of all, you got to be like a Gen Xer or early millennial to appreciate this. You have to have watched television in the 80s. Let me bust out the file. I may have to unshare share to get the audio. So let me just get the okay, that's that one. Let's go to documents. Sometimes you just like have these little inspirations and you want to have a good time. Let's see screen. No, not that. Not that. Let's go back. Promotional videos. Yep. Get my stock vids, movie and TV clips. So I didn't know where I put this damn thing. Yeah, I don't know where I saved it. Isn't that a pain in the butt now that I want to show it off? Because it's pretty funny. But we might have to deal with that another time. Let's see. Yeah, that's all right, bro. Screw it, dude. Let's just move on. V, Gorilla, sir. I will get the video. I will find it and I will share it tomorrow because it's funny. Or just go watch that YouTube video. It's hilarious. All right, V, get us out of here, bro.
Absolutely, guys. Listen, join us up. I mean, 2024 critical year. Learn how you can profit from what is to come. Learn how you can take advantage and leverage the turmoil that the world is in, that the markets are in, for your benefit. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into the live lab.
All right.